to kind of help me govern myself. And I use those things that she taught me growing up to make sure that I'm always representing myself, representing my family, representing my community that I have the honor to represent. And so I would say that you're always on, that you're always a state representative, and you have to govern yourself accordingly. And you do what you can when you can for your constituents. So.
Montana.
Does this work? Ooh, okay. I have a question for Mr. Chief Justice. You stated that you work with troubled youth or underprivileged youth down in Jacksonville, or to the east in Jacksonville. I've done an internship with Bank of America through communities and schools, so I was wondering, this is kind of a personal question, but I didn't know if I could talk to you afterwards. What exactly have you been working with? And also, more importantly, what do you think the role of nonprofit, or the role of government in nonprofit organizations is?
Good. The group that I worked with was a ministry to inner city kids, and we worked with staff people and with some of the judiciary for the purpose of trying to make life better and provide opportunities that they would not otherwise have. And it was through the contacts that I had as a member of that board and participating with them that I was asked to be a judge. I remember very well in the fall I became a judge in June of 1968, and in the fall of that year we had a camping experience for those inner city youth. And I remember one morning as I was there at the camp that a group of the guys came and pulled me out of bed and carried me over their shoulders and threw me in the lake. And they just said that it was the first time that they had ever had a chance to throw a judge in the lake instead of the judge throwing them into somewhere. And so that was the work. Nonprofit, I was on the board of Daniel Memorial in Jacksonville, a psychiatric treatment facility for teenagers. And I've just always throughout my life been a part of organizations like that. And government cannot do it all. And not only that, but oftentimes when they do it, they don't do it best. But it is through nonprofits that most of the success in those types of arenas and venues have been met. And so I would encourage all of you who have the opportunity as a high school and throughout your college and professional career that you get involved in those types of things. That is a good question.
This question is for Mr. former Speaker of the House, Vince. It's not really a question that you have to answer, it's just more that I kind of like to hear you talk because I think you're kind of a cool guy. I mean, you're all really cool. I don't know if you have any...
You can be politics up, man.
I don't know if you have any quotes or funny paradoxes or short life stories that have kind of defined you and who you are and stuff like that. Something that we can recognize and just see just get to know you a little bit better.
Well, I'm from a small town in the Panhandle, Panama City, and I went to a school on the east side of town, which was not the. Let me put it this way: our high school was fenced off in 1967. That's the type of school it was. My parents died when I was in junior high and high school. I worked my way through junior high, high school, and college. Went to work immediately after I graduated from college. And I firmly believe all of you have politics in your blood. Every single one of you here, most of you, I'd say 95%, have politics in your blood. And if I could give a word of advice, make your money first. Try to earn a living. Try to scratch out a living, because it was wonderful for me because I've made a lot of money in business. And when I finally decided to run for the House for Speaker, I gathered up all my partners and said, and all my companies, I said, guys and gals, I'm getting ready to run for the House. I'm going to win this time. I'm going to run for Speaker, and I'll be gone for the next 8 years. And, we've all made a lot of money. And is that okay with you guys? They said, yeah. So it gave me 8 years, frankly, that I didn't have to worry about, balancing my checkbook back home or driving back and forth daily. Make your money, or whatever niche it is. If you want to be a school teacher, be a school teacher. Learn the realities of life. Learn what life is all about. While it's admirable to be in the Florida House at a young age, or the Florida Senate, there's nothing like getting kicked around a little bit in life and having some scars and bruises that will make you think twice as you're voting on a bill. Also, I would tell you, and I won't keep on going, but have a set of principles. Have a set of principles that you go by. And everyone's principles are going to be different. For example, education and how we educate students in Florida. Every one of the members of the Florida House want to have a wonderful public education for their students. They just disagree on how to get there. Some want public education, some want private education. But they all want to succeed. The question is, how does a leader get those folks in the same track to come up with good legislation? Principles. My fundamental principles haven't changed. Less government, less taxes, more responsibility and accountability, preserving our personal freedoms, and empowering our families in Florida. I had them on a card. I made all my Republicans remember those fundamental 5 principles. And sometimes they make people mad. When you vote based upon your principles, it makes people unhappy. And I can remember when I was trying to get members to vote for me for Speaker to sign a pledge card, and I was in the committee meeting and I had to vote against their bill. Now the easiest thing for me to do would be to vote for their bill, and hey, I made that vote for you, will you sign my pledge card? I did. I voted against the bill. I told them why. But at the end of the day, folks, at the end of the day, that person respected me for that. And that's all. It's sort of like the Jeb Bush re-election in 2002. People were mad at him. He taking some tough stances, and his Democratic opponent was ahead of him. But at the very end, even folks that Governor Bush had made unhappy, at the end of the day, they said at least he sticks to his principles. He ended up winning by a pretty good margin. So I would urge you, if you don't know what your principles are now, and you probably don't, determine what they are. And it also reflects in your personal life. I'll leave you with this. This is America. Anybody, if you work hard, if you're honest, and provide a good service, you can get rich in America. Those 3 fundamental things. Honest, work hard, provide a good living, a good service. And you will be successful. So if you'll remember that, keep that in the back of your mind, you'll be successful in business, you'll be successful in politics, or whatever endeavor you choose to pursue. To help.
The Bush-Gore decision of 2000 was probably one of the more significant cases that we had. And, there was a certain sense in which I was saddened by the fact that the court got involved in that because when it was all over, regardless of what court from down in South Florida up here to Tallahassee and that the Supreme Court ruled in the ultimate, according to all of the recounts, George Bush won and had the decision been made on the basis of the count of the votes as opposed to an opinion or decision by a court, I think the country would have been better served. But at the Supreme Court level, we had some very interesting opportunities to rule on. I remember one case in which a couple from Argentina was headed back to the exit, and they were robbed. And interestingly enough, they were able to identify and to, the robber was arrested, but at the time of trial, the people from Argentina were not able to come to Florida for the trial, and the judge set up a satellite system where the people could be in Argentina. They could see the judge, they could see the jury, they could see the defendant could see all of them.